Hi, I'm Deborah Vasilovich. I'm the Teen Instructor and Research Specialist here at the Elkridge branch of the Howard County Library System, where I am super excited and happy to tell you that our teen internship here to design the 9,000 square feet expansion for the teens is halfway through. I cannot believe so much time has gone past, and they have learned so much, from budgeting to what is a library, who might be using the space and why, to capital projects. So now they are actually sitting down and designing the space, and they are coming up with some amazing ideas, and I cannot wait to see and share out what they have come up with. So stay tuned.
This whole process has been very exciting. I was very happy to be voted in by my peers as the architecture co-chair, because I've been interested in architecture from a very young age, and also visiting this library from a very young age. I went to a class called Paragraph Pals when I was very little, and just seeing the space grow and evolve has been very enlightening for me. I really like the inclusivity of it all and getting to know the peers in my community, and I really like hearing all of the opinions, especially in my architecture committee. It's very exciting and very thought-provoking to hear all of the differences of opinions and all of the ideas based on people's cultural backgrounds or the experiences that they have, and things that I may not have previously considered.
It was really unexpected that the teens would be the ones who were actually really leading things, and that they would be the head of the committees. And I didn't expect the teens to be the ones to have so much input and have so much say in what we do.
What motivates me to do this is to try something new, meet new friends, and try to help out the community and all that stuff, so that other teens like me can have a nice place to be comfortable and meet new friends as well.
Overall, we are supposed to be creating an inclusive and teen-centered space, a human-centered space, and a compassionate space. Teens with disabilities also need to be considered, so that's a big factor. And then all of the differences of interest. I've learned a lot about people's interests in anthropology and journalism and sciences, and all of those things really need to be considered to make this space feel like a home and a place where everybody can go to get a little something to make their lives better.
I'm the co-chair of the Arts, Crafts, and Writing Committee, so we focus on how we can make our space more comfortable for creative people, and how we can have classes for art and writing and crafts.
So one thing that I feel like a lot of people wanted was music things related, and I totally agree with that. I feel like there could be a lot of more music things.
I mostly like to see a room that you can bring your own console, something like that, or a room that you just chill around, hang out with friends and stuff. I would like a room you can do a quick workout, so you don't have to pay for a gym membership. You can just come to the library.
People are talking about a gym, gymnasium, which I like too, because sometimes we just got to go to the gym, or just sometimes we need to relieve some stress. Tonight we were tasked with the two problems of accessibility in the space and efficiency of the space, and making sure that the space flows nicely. So we were given a large blueprint, a floor plan of the space, and we were allowed to mark it up and draw things, and we had sticky notes, and we worked in a large group of about 30 students to talk about the structure of the space and what we'd like to do with it. So in terms of accessibility, we really thought about who needs this space. I think the Elkridge Library already does a great job of catering to people who need wheelchair accessibility, but also considering how we talked about at the beginning of our project, the ESL teen, so people who may speak a different language, or how she mentioned, those who might not be able to hear things, deaf teens who might need lighting specialties or things like that, or blind teens, things like that, who might need to come to the library. So I think that's also very important to consider. And in terms of efficiency of the space, we'd like to open the space and create a clear flow between the old and the past with the Elkridge Library, and the new and improved teen space. So we're hoping to create flow and really open passages and create things that are not secluded and not scary, but are welcoming and fun. We went around the room, we did stations. Some of the stations were a graffiti wall, and we would have to explain what we liked or what we wanted in our area.
We went around in different stations, a graffiti like wall, but it was like on paper. We write ideas like what we wanted. Then after we had like a sticker, then we put it on the paper of all these different examples of different places that could potentially be in the teen center.
There was also like what we want our design or like what we want our scheme to look like. So like, do we want it retro? Do we want it like cool? Do we want it like warm colors? Like, what do we want our theme to be?
We talked about how we could have classes with arts and things that would interest creative students.
We want there to be welcoming, like we want everyone to feel welcome and like just be able to belong.
We presented to the rest of the group what kinds of things we would be looking for that we want in our teen center and what kinds of classes and events we want.
We also talked about the importance of storage in the space in terms of intentionality, because while we would like to open the space, there's also the issue and task and challenge of having to balance open space versus unintentional space. So having just wide floor plans with nothing there, it's not going to feel welcoming and it's going to feel bare. So we have to balance the storage and seclusion of the space with also openness and warmth and invitingness of the space.
We talked about having tutors. We talked about having like support for ACT and SAT. We talked about having contests or having classes where we could design things and design merchandise. We talked about opening a store in the teen center.
So as the co-chair, one of the largest challenges in my group has kind of been getting everybody out of their shell. And that is understandable because we are teens, we're going to be a little bit awkward. But hopefully throughout the process of this internship, we will get more comfortable with each other and really be open and welcome to sharing our ideas. I think as the night goes on, everybody gets a little bit more familiar and open to sharing their ideas. But it definitely is a bit challenging to not just have myself and my co-chair Nahima doing all of the talking, because I'm very, very interested and concerned about inclusivity and making sure that everybody's voices are heard. So it definitely bothers me when people are not speaking up or making sure that their input is valued. And I really try to make sure that everybody is seen and their opinions are valued. Some people are afraid of what people might think or think that something is self-explanatory, but really this is a process where everybody's growing and learning together and trying to create a space that we're all going to use, not only now, but to create a future impact. And I think that it's very important that everybody has their voices heard so that we get past the challenge of not speaking to each other and we can really work, especially as an architecture committee, to be homogenous and create a loving team. We're really working to repurpose these old spaces and create new and enhanced spaces for our teens, because this is not only where we're going to be growing up, but it's also going to be for the future and our younger siblings and people who might move here. So it's really important to consider everybody's values and opinions. Overall, this space is catering towards our community, and we want to make sure that we are not only creating the space for teens, but also with them.